This week we explore Lando's knowledge of fashion.
I got every cape, okay? I got an everyday cape, sister's wedding cape, intergalactic President's Day cape. This is just if someone gets cold.
It's a lot of capes.
More from Bel Iblis's mustaching.
Mustache power! Activate!
And discourse among the Republic faction.
Many Bothans die.
Yeah.
All to come in Chapter 15 of Dark Force Rising. Hello there, I'm Darren.
I'm Kat.
And welcome to The Real Sequels, a series of events that happened after Episode 6 in the books, novels, and sometimes comics in the expanded universe. Today we're opening with Chapter 15. And Chapter 15 opens back at the base of Senator Bel Iblis. He, Sena, Lando and Han are seated in the headquarters lounge. Bel is regaling Han and Lando with old war stories a la Tarantino.
So, Han and Lando have to get their feet out in exchange for stories then.
Of course.
Cool.
Bel is telling the two about his group's first real triumph over Tangreen. Bel reflects that the campaign was their crowning achievement, blasting a major ubiquitous center into fine powder and waltzing out with 3 Star Destroyers, as well as his own 2, costing them nothing but time and repairs. The former senator bellows that this is when the Empire started to take them seriously. The tone of the conversation is misbalanced, however, with Han being very much into it, slightly fanboying over the former senator of his home planet, while Lando is much more visibly untrusting, butting in with questions as if the truth, or at least the whole truth, hadn't been spoken. In the spirit of this, Lando says that he thought Bel said he had 6 dreadnoughts, not 5. However, Bel sportingly chirped back that he has 6 now, but only had 5 then. At this, Lando drops back into silence. Moving the conversation along, Han asks if that was the point Bel started moving his base around, to which Bel agreed. This was their 13th location in 7 years. 14th if you count Wormrick and the asteroids, chimed Sena. Bel then went on to say that every building here is made of high-grade memory plastic, which makes it simple enough to get everything packed up and onto transports in a hurry. Just then, the bartender arrived with a tray of Twistlers, a blend of Corellian brandy and some unidentified tart fruit. Bel picked off 2 drinks and handed them to Sena and Han. "I'm still good, thanks," said Lando, stony-faced, before he could even be offered one by Bel. Bel then said that it was a month after Tangreen that they met Borsk Filia. "Yeah, what's your deal with him?" said Lando. "Less of a deal than he'd like," Bel replied back coolly and politely. He explains that Borsk has done some favours for them in the past, and that he thinks they should be more grateful to him. "What sort of favours?" Lando asks suspiciously.
A foot massage.
"Small ones. He found some ships for us, that sort of thing," says Bel. "And how grateful are you?" snapped back Lando. "Lando," said Han warningly. This doesn't seem to have offended Bel, however. He simply says that that's alright, but before he tells them, he needs to ask them a question. Bel is interested in Mon Mothma and the New Republic hierarchy, what her relationship is to Filia, and that sort of thing. Han says that that's all really a matter of public record. However, Bel isn't interested in the official record. He wants to know the truth of what she's up to. This of course riles up Han. "Is that what Borsk told you?" he demands. However, Bel coolly replies again that this is not about the Bothans, but the woman herself. Now, there's a lot Han doesn't like about Mon Mothma, but Han said what he knew about her. When it comes down to it, she merely is trying to keep the New Republic government together. "With herself at the head," said Bel. "Shouldn't it be?" replied Han. Just then, the shadow of something seemed to cross Bel's face, as his eyes fell into his glass. It was inevitable, I suppose. "So you're becoming a republic in fact as well as name?" Han says yes, and asks what Filia has to do with it. He believes Mon Mothma wields too much power. Something I suppose you disagree with. Lando chimes in saying, "And what does Filia want to do about it?" At this, Bel's lip twitched. "Oh, Filia's got some rather personal and highly unsurprising ideas about the reapportionment of power, but that's Bothans for you. Give them a sniff of a soup pot, and they'll climb all over each other to be in charge of the ladle, especially when he claims to be a valued ally, unlike someone I could mention, says Lando.
At this point in the comics, the bartender's face looks like he's pretending not to listen. But he's actually like, oh shit. Oh no, he didn't.
Bel then pipes up before Sena has time to butt in, saying that Lando is wondering why he decided to fight the Empire on his own and not with the Alliance. That's right, said Lando, matching Bel's tone. Bel explains that security was a big factor. He claims that it seemed that every 5th rebel base was lost to the Empire due to sheer sloppiness. To this, Han agrees that yes, they had a problem. Bel, however, reports that they still do. The Grand Admiral himself has a leak in the Imperial Palace called Delta Source. Han felt a bit called out at this moment, like a kid who hasn't done his homework. Lando, however, still inquisitive and fiery as ever, pushes the point. Okay.
He's trying to figure out why he's got a leak. Like, I don't know, they aren't the best vegetables.
Okay, security. What's the other reasons? Han then says to Lando to ease off. This isn't an interrogation. However, Bel interrupts that he appreciates it, but he can look after himself. Bel says that he will be happy to reveal such reasons when it is time to do so. However, it is now getting late and he has duties to attend to. Sounds fine, Han said for the two of them. Bel says that he needs Sena, but he can point them in the direction of their quarters. This suited the two and they walked off towards their assigned room. On the way, Lando begins, "Get it over with." Han says, "Get what over with?" "Chewing me out for not bowing and scraping to your senator, pal." Han pushes it that Lando wasn't just not bowing. In fact, he'd seen Chewie in a bad mood be more polite than Lando was back there. Lando explains that he believes Bel has lied to them, or at least isn't telling the whole truth. Han, noticing the tension lines in Lando's face for the first time, decides that he must be serious about this. He looks around and says that this base, for one, isn't ready to pack up and be moved at a moment's notice, like the senator had said. Lando could tell that this place hadn't been moved in at least 6 months, despite what Bel had said, due to the smoothness of the plastic where the corners would fold. There are other things that point to this as well. The amount of decorations and comforts in the main buildings. You don't keep things like that if you're constantly moving. Han counters with perhaps Bel is laying low. Maybe, says Lando, but why? Lando outlines that perhaps he's made a deal with Philia. After the way he talked about Mon Mothma as if she was ready to declare herself emperor at any moment, perhaps this is Philia's influence. Han then says that if that's their plan, then why bring the two of them here? To which Lando hisses between his teeth that that's the worst case scenario. Perhaps this is all an Imperial scam. Lando outlines how suspicious it is that a seemingly dead, famous senator suddenly becomes alive again with his own army, a notion that Han entertains due to the fact that Iblis wasn't ever considered a recluse before his disappearance, but that it would be a lot of effort for someone to look and sound like him. Han believes that Lando is jumping at shadows and this plan is just too convoluted. They finally reach their quarters. The building is stark and functional. Looks like it could be packed up and shipped out in 3 minutes, quipped Han sardonically. Maybe. This is the exact feeling that lounge should have had, but it didn't. Perhaps this has been taken straight off the ship, said Lando as he squatted down by one of the chairs quizzically. He dug his finger behind the grey outer layer. "These chairs aren't grey," he said to Han. "They are blue gold."
Who the hell designed the interior of the ship? They know what we've always settled on, the old faithful. Random colours, random lines. It's what the kids want, damn it.
Lando then explains that never has any fleet had their interiors done in blue gold. Not the Empire, not the New Republic, or the Old Republic, except for once, the Katana fleet. Lando, in shock, realizes that that's why they kept them aboard the Falcon during the rescue, so that they didn't realize the fleet was being run on 2,000 people, rather than the traditional 16,000 crew. But they need to get aboard that ship to get something better in the way of proof. To do so, they need to get the recognition code Ironez had. Lando says he can reconstruct it if they get a good look at the display in the headquarters. The two decide that this is the correct plan of action and move out. That was a cool chapter. A lot of talking. A lot of sitting and talking.
Lots of sitting and talking, standing and talking, walking and talking.
And we now know that Senator Bel Iblis has the most stealable fleet in the entire of the Star Wars galaxy. And it just so happens that there's a very smelly fella coming to commandeer it. Niles Ferrier, of course.
Of course.
The Dark Force is indeed rising.
Oh, shit.
Or is it? That's about all we've got time for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you've earned it. And check out some of the videos I've done in this one. And if you were designing a ship seat, what colours would you go for? And we'll see you all next time. Bye!
Bye.